Hello. Today I'd like to share some thoughts on consciousness. I've been writing and talking about consciousness for a very long time. And so I thought, it'd be good to share what I think of consciousness itself, kind of defining my terms. And first, let me say, I think that consciousness is very amorphous. I think it means different things to different people. So I thought I'd give you my thoughts on it. And several times ago I posted on Facebook something about some conscious action that I took, and someone commented, "Oh, you're awake?" And I remember that gave me pause, because when I think of conscious action, I think of mindfulness or attentiveness or awareness, intentionality, those kind of things. So I was like, some people might think that being conscious is awake. And I think you and I both agree that it's way more than being awake. And so I thought I'd share my thoughts. And of course, the scientific world is going crazy right now studying consciousness. It's so exciting what they're coming up with. I'm just thrilled with learning of everything. It's just fascinating. And so what I feel is that scientists are beginning to unravel the mystery that has vexed philosophers for thousands of years. And what they've come up with is that consciousness is everything we experience. That's the way they say it. Everything we experience. So from that tune that runs in our head, to the sweetness of chocolate, to the throb of a toothache, to the fierce love of our children and grandchildren, that's conscious experience. That's everything we experience. And there are other scientists who say that there's nothing we can know about consciousness, that we can't know what it is, and we don't know how it works. So while the scientific community continues to debate the truth of the matter, which I'm sure more will develop, what I love is that quantum physicists have come up with the theory, with which I agree because it just feels so right, and that is that consciousness is everything, and vice versa. Everything is consciousness. And Jean Houston wrote in a book that I read called What is Consciousness? She wrote that it is the quantum nature of the universe. That's what consciousness is. And I agree with her, because that is everything. And most recently I was listening to a webinar with Bruce Lipton. If you haven't heard him, look him up. He's fabulous. He's a biologist and an epigeneticist, and he too believes that consciousness is everything. But what I loved is he kind of brought it home when he talked about the shift in paradigm that we had in physics in the 20th century. And that is where we went from Newtonian physics to Einstein and quantum physics. And in Newtonian physics, prior to the 20th century, the truth of the matter was there were two things that consisted of the universe: energy and matter. And with Einstein's discoveries and theories that came up through the 20th century, of course, that everything is energy. And I loved when I thought about it. I thought, energy and matter were the only two things in the universe. Duality. And then Einstein comes along and says, nope, there's nothing but energy, oneness. So there's a paradigm shift that happened in the 20th century in physics. I go, yeah, that works for me. Einstein said that about matter, we've been wrong. There's no such thing as matter. Energy just comes to a lower vibration that it's perceivable to the senses. He said that matter is an illusion, albeit a persistent one. So what this means for us who are on the path to evolving our nature, to stepping onto the landscape of the new reality, is understanding that being a conscious being is peaceful, kind, compassionate human being. That's a conscious human being. And at the same time, we can understand that we step into the vastness of the cosmic consciousness that we are, flowing love and happiness, and from our compassionate heart, felt joy and life. And so, bring your consciousness to the forefront. Be conscious. Be vastly connected to the consciousness that you are. It's a very powerful, healing experience. Step into your consciousness. Thanks for listening. Aho.